What if I told you that your body actually came with a user manual, a set of instructions for how to use it correctly so you can avoid all that wear and tear? Well, it kinda does. We just have to learn how to read it. So let's dive into a quick explainer on body mechanics, your body's hidden instructions for moving safely and efficiently.
We've all been there, right? You stand up and get that sudden, sharp twinge in your back. Or maybe you end a long day at the desk with the super stiff neck. We usually just brush it off as, a normal part of life.
But what if those pains aren't random at all? What if they're actually little warning lights on your body's dashboard telling you that you're moving all wrong, that you're putting stress on parts of your body that just weren't built to take it? This is exactly where understanding that manual comes into play.
So what even is body mechanics? Well, at its core, it's pretty simple. It's the science of how to move properly. It's all about coordinating your alignment, your balance, and your movement so that every single thing you do puts the least amount of strain on your muscles and joints. Really, you can think of it as moving smarter, not harder. And getting this right, it's like unlocking a superpower for your body. For starters, it helps prevent injuries. Everything from a simple muscle strain to really serious stuff like herniated discs. It also makes you way more efficient, so you use less energy and feel less tired. And here's a big one. It protects the natural S-curve of your spine, which is your body's built-in shock absorber. On top of all that, it just makes you more stable and improves your balance.
Okay, so how do we start using this superpower? Well, the first step is to see our body for what it really is, an absolutely brilliant machine. And like any machine, it runs on some pretty basic principles of physics.
Hey, remember learning about simple machines back in science class? Well, it turns out the most important one for how we move is the lever. Our entire musculoskeletal system, that's our bones, joints, and muscles, is just this incredibly complex system of levers that lets us do everything from nod our heads to lift a heavy box.
Every lever system has three basic parts. First, you've got the fulcrum. That's just the pivot point. In our bodies, our joints are the fulcrums. So your elbow, your knee, your neck, all of those are pivot points for movement. Second, you need some effort, or force, and that's where our muscles come in. When a muscle, like your bicep, contracts, it pulls on a bone, and that applies the force you need to actually move the lever.
And finally, there's the load. This is simply the weight or resistance that the lever is trying to move. It could be something as light as your own forearm, or it could be a heavy bag of groceries you're picking up. Fulcrum, effort, and load, that's the whole system right there.
Now, what's really fascinating is how these three parts can be arranged. A super easy way to remember the three classes of levers is the mnemonic FLE. FLE. In a first-class lever, the fulcrum is in the middle, kind of like a seesaw. Nodding your head is a perfect example. In a second-class lever, the load is in the middle. Think about standing up on your tiptoes. This setup gives you a lot of power. And in a third-class lever, the effort is in the middle, like when you do a bicep curl. This is actually the most common type in our bodies, and while it's not the most powerful, it gives us incredible range of motion and speed.
Okay, let's see how all these principles come together in one of the most basic things we do, walking. You might think it's simple, but from a biomechanics perspective, walking is this amazing, complex dance with gravity.
So, to understand walking, we first have to talk about our center of gravity. This is basically a theoretical point where all your body's mass is perfectly balanced. For most of us, when we're standing up, it's right there in the middle of our pelvis. This one spot is the absolute key to our balance.
And here's the golden rule of stability. It's really simple. As long as your center of gravity stays directly over your base of support, which is just the area on the ground between your feet, you're balanced. The second it moves outside that area, you start to fall.
And this is the aha moment. Walking, at its very core, is just a constant series of controlled falls. With every single step, you are intentionally shifting your center of gravity forward, right past your base of support, which starts a fall. Then, you swing your other leg forward to create a new base of support and catch yourself, just in time to do it all over again. Pretty cool, huh?
Okay, so the theory is great, but how do we actually apply it? Let's start with something a huge number of us do every single day, and often, really incorrectly, sitting. Mastering this one thing can make a massive difference for your body.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On the left, you've got the slouch. This just rounds out that natural curve in your lower back and puts a ton of stress on the spine. But on the right, you see proper posture. The spine keeps its natural S shape, the head is lined up over the shoulders, and the whole body is balanced and supported.
All right, so let's do a quick checklist for you right now. Try to sit with your back straight. Let your shoulders relax. Don't hunch them up.
Your knees should be about level with your hips, and, this is a really big one, make sure your feet are flat on the floor. These little tweaks help distribute your weight properly and take so much strain off your back.
All right, next up, an activity that's responsible for countless injuries: lifting. It doesn't matter if it's groceries, a kid, or a box at work. Lifting the right way is absolutely non-negotiable if you want a healthy back. Now check this out, because the physics here is absolutely wild. Holding even a light 10-pound box with your arms stretched out puts a shocking 100 pounds of force on your lower back. But if you bring that exact same box in close to your body, near your center of gravity, the force on your back plummets to just 10 pounds. That is a tenfold difference.
So let's break down the safe way to do it. First, get a wide, stable base with your feet shoulder-width apart. Second, bend at your knees and your hips, not your waist. Let your powerful leg muscles do the heavy lifting. Third, just like we saw, hold that load super close to your body. And finally, and this is crucial, never, ever twist your torso while lifting. Move your feet to turn instead.
Really, it all boils down to these 4 simple rules. If you can turn these into habits, you're basically rewriting your body's user manual for the better. Keep that spine neutral. Use your legs, not your back. Hold heavy stuff close, and pivot, don't twist.
By really taking these ideas to heart, you're not just avoiding pain, you're learning to work with your body's amazing design, not against it. So the question is, now that you've had a look through your own user manual, what's the one small change you're going to make today?